Yeah,
you know.
And I saw an article today. I'm like, why is this even news? It was, I think it was like Game Rant or something, some website that's like more of a clickbaity site than a more of informative site like Game Informer or IGN or something. But it said EA not shutting down BioWare after Rocky Anthem launch. I'm like, why would they shut down BioWare? Like I know EA likes to shut studios down, but like, why would they shut BioWare down from this? And that kind of transitions us into this first story here, which I guess is why this article was written in the first place. But I'm just gonna read this first article here. This comes from Eurogamer.net. Anthem's physical sales half of Mass Effect Andromeda's. So Anthem topped the UK box game sales charts during its first week of release, but with half the physical sales of BioWare's previous game, Mass Effect Andromeda. Without digital sales through EA Origin service on PC or download sales on PlayStation or Xbox, it's difficult to draw exact comparisons, but from the comparisons we can make, Anthem sales do not paint a hugely positive picture. Anthem only managing half the launch week sales of Andromeda is disappointing, as Andromeda only managed half the launch week sales of Mass Effect 3. Again, we're only talking about box sales here, which will have dipped over time in favor of a growing number of people downloading their games digitally, but it seems near impossible Anthem made that sales gap up with Andromeda. The last Mass Effect game launched at the same time only 2 years ago, and through the same methods, including EA Access, which offered an early trial. So, I mean, box copy sales are down, which is, to be fair, that's expected, because box copies of Destiny 2 sales were down over Destiny 1, but their digital sales were way higher. Because I think with these games as a service type deals, you're going to download the game because you're going to want it on your console constantly, Well, and especially this is an EA game. People who have EA Access are going to get a discount buying it digitally. So right, I think it's
why would you get it physically if you can save a couple of bucks, with your EA Access? Like, that's the whole reason you have that.
Yeah,
is to get the discount.
Yeah, and so like I've gone all digital on Xbox and PlayStation. So like. All my games except for a select few are digital, and I have gone back, and if I really, really, really enjoyed a game that much, I'll go back and buy the physical copy just to have it on the shelf. But all of my games are digital,
Yeah.
And except for my Switch stuff, but honestly, having a baby crawling around, I have debated on whether or not I should be doing digital on that console too. Just keeping the games I really, really love physically, but that's a different story for a different day. So
but have to start getting like I remember that part of like having like DVD shelves and stuff, and you got to make sure they're all mounted to the wall, and so they can't tip or anything like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been really playing around with that idea with Switch too. It's just like I'm gonna trade in my physical cards to Amazon, get a giant SD card and some eShop cards, and re-download these games. Especially with that 1 terabyte card coming out soon.
Yeah,
super enticing.
I know. I probably should get an upgrade on that too. I need to get an upgrade too for my Xbox, because I got my now, like, having the terabyte and the One X kind of has saved me a little bit more space now.
Yeah.
But even that's getting filled up, and my 2 terabyte is completely full.
Yeah.
So
it's Game Pass, man. Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, that, and just, like, there's a lot of games that I was deleting in the past to make room for other stuff, and
plus, like, if you look at kind of like their kind of big 3 heavy hitters in terms of exclusives, Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, and Gears, that's like 320 gigs right there. So Gears 4 is like 114 gigs.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Anthem. There's something down on this article too about Destiny as well. As an online-only game, you might expect a higher number of digital sales, so let's compare Anthem to Destiny, as many already have. Well, Anthem sold roughly a quarter of Destiny's week one physical total from back in 2017. Just looking at 2019's release calendar so far, Anthem's opening weekend physical sales were lower than both Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2. So physical sales are down, but we don't really know digital. We won't know digital sales until NPD comes out in next Thursday, I think it is. So it's tough. Like, you're putting out a new IP from a developer that has had a rocky track record their last couple games. Plus, them being under EA is also not helping them. I'm 1,000% sure, because I've already seen people online saying it's an EA game, I'm not buying it. Which really sucks, because like, as much as we like to rag on EA too, like, we can recognize good games when we see them and support the developers, because like, look at Titanfall 2 and Apex. Like, Respawn is a fantastic developer. Of course I want to support them, but that people not buying those games just because they're EA published games is kind of, I don't know. I don't really know how to really feel about that,
Yeah, that's the thing too. And like, another thing that I've noticed, like kind of going back to the first thing, how we were talking about kind of like the idea of what Anthem is. And like, I'm on Facebook. I'm on a couple of like gaming like pages and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell the people who get what Anthem is. Those are the ones who are saying like I'm done with everything, but I'm so glad to be in the end game right now. Like, I'm leveled up enough where I can be part of the end game, and they're enjoying that part of it because they understand what this game is about. And like, and that's not saying that people who don't like what it is are wrong. It's just I feel like those are a lot of people who just like are maybe just more of the casual players who maybe play Destiny casually and or just joined Destiny 2 when there's all this content in it, because it's been out long enough now.
Yeah,
and and then they get turned off because they're like, well, why can't it be like this? And it's like, well, that's because that's been out for a long time now.
Yeah,
this just came out.
Destiny, a lot of people were wait and see on Destiny also, and like, when Destiny 1 came out, a lot of people fell off and either rejoined when the Taken King came out, or jumped in when the Taken King came out because of how much that game fixed. That expansion fixed a lot of the game. And the same with Destiny 2. A lot of people stopped playing after that initial campaign, and then they bought Forsaken and jumped back in, and because of all the things that Forsaken kind of fixed with it, and Destiny concurrents are, regardless of what the internet says, Destiny 2's concurrents are as high as they've ever been right now because of Forsaken and their kind of seasonal content, and Bungie really catering to that hardcore fan base instead of, they tried to cater to the casual fan base, and it turns out that kind of backfired on them, and I really liked what Destiny 2 offered. I didn't really have a problem with a lot of it, but that hardcore audience are the people who are going to get new players in and talk and say what they like and don't like about the game. And I think Anthem is really kind of, look, the game's only technically been out for a week. So, and we have 5 years of Destiny to talk about. Let's give it some time and let it breathe and get that quote unquote new content in there. Let them listen to the community and see what they need to fix or change or whatever. And it'll. Yeah.
Well, and it's like, and it's kind of the same idea as Sea of Thieves. Like, you've got to, like, I just appreciate the games for what they are and what they're doing that's different. And, you've got to appreciate and just because it doesn't have everything you want in it doesn't mean that it's a bad game, and I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of times that's kind of the attitude people are having, is like, oh, I want this and I want that, and because it doesn't have it, it's a bad game. It's like, no, it just, like, because it, like, you need to then go online, and like, I think they're pretty good about trying to listen to the community, I'm sure, about trying to make changes and things like that. Because I like, this kind of game is kind of something that I feel like they would look to what the community is wanting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you need to be nice about it, and like, like, respect them and what they're doing, and then, like, just be civil about things. Like, I feel like too many times people are just get too out of hand with, like, getting mad at things and disliking things for just, like, really small reasons or whatever. Like, just like, like we said, the whole thing is, yeah, like, we're not happy about the way EA does things sometimes, but that it's not fair to the people who are actually making the games. Right. There's ways you can, kind of stick it to EA, like, just refuse to, like, buy loot crates or loot boxes or any of that kind of stuff. But like, I mean, there's ways you can go about doing it, but just like saying, oh, because this game is from EA, it's it's right away, it's garbage and it's not worth getting. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just a hard situation, obviously, but I don't fault BioWare for the major decisions that EA makes, and I don't fault these developers for what EA wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I think BioWare knows what they want to do, and same with Respawn. They went out and made Apex because they wanted to make Apex. They called out EA on a couple of things, so I mean, they obviously, that's kind of why I like Respawn, because they don't really care that EA is their publisher. They just kind of do what they want and say what they want, and
yeah.
So this.